Okay.
All right, now we're gonna turn off our video too, just so we can better.
Dude, look at how gay I look.
Not there.
Nice.
Alrighty, for the third time, my article was entitled Clinton. What was it? A female president? That's nice, but not why I want Hillary Clinton. And it's by Hattie Freeman. She's a woman. She's a very liberal journalist for Guardian.com. And she basically says that she doesn't just want Hillary Clinton because she's a woman. For the last two tries, we tried to do this. The feminist and is pro-abortion. We've never had a woman president, so she says it'd be cool because it could relate to it, and because she'd be a demographic phenomenon. Again, meaning that we've never had a white woman president or any woman president have something new like that. I said that she's kind of biased because those are the only reasons she lists wanting her for president. Nothing regarding her actual political feministic view on and things with abortion, and also disregarding the different part of, like I said, Travelgate back when she was with Bill Clinton in the White House, and also the emails, and also being under investigation by the FBI again. So I said that she was kind of biased in the aspect because she disregarded anything political and all the other like scandals she's been a part of.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Nice.
Okay.
Better
Again,
better than the second time.
Yeah. Should have a very good overview of what my article was about now.
Say similar to Paul's in that the media now is being seems to be very biased with Hillary Clinton. Just kind of disregarding all of her wrongs that she's done and kind of building her up as such a great person and going to be a great president, and how none of those things are going to affect the polls and things like that. And they just kind of look past all these things. I mean, like Paul and I were talking about the voting machine scandal.
Yeah, did you guys hear about that?
I haven't
Yeah,
heard
I
much
did.
about it.
They were like voting, and then they would vote for a Republican candidate, and they would change it to Democratic right after they pressed the button.
Yeah, so it would say like they'd vote Republican, and then it would say, "Thank you for voting for Hillary."
Yeah, exactly right. And they're like, what the heck? Apparently, whoever designed the rigging for Hillary Clinton's election wasn't super smart. Must have got C's in his programming class.
Yeah.
No kidding.
There's so many things like that that kind of the media is overlooking. They're just being completely. And I mean, obviously, I'm probably being biased in saying this, but I don't know. I think you need to look at both sides.
I agree. It does seem pretty slanted in, well, just like the debates and everything else they do. They'll say, Hillary, you had this big scandal. Oh, you're sorry? Okay. Donald, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Quote, we have you saying this. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I think Donald Trump's a great person either, but anyway, sorry, that's a different topic. But I'm definitely going to put him over.
No, but you're right. It's ridiculous.
Kind of
Yeah,
acts like when
little unbalanced.
him putting a pet dog on top of a car one time when he was going on vacation.
What?
Yeah. Like, oh, that would make the Romney look bad.
Animal rights activist.
He's
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I'll go next with my example. I thought of a personal example. So in my job as a consumer loan officer, there's some possibility for an attachment bias because I do have a salary, but my commission is based on it's based on like different loan products that I sell. And it's also based on the total amount of loan dollars that I disperse per month. So that kind of misaligns my incentives, So if I want to make more money and kind of please the bosses, that doesn't encourage me to put the customer's best interests at heart. It encourages me to just get more money out of them, right? So there's if I'm not careful, there's a big possibility to have slanted judgment when they ask me advice and ask me what they should do and how much they should borrow and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. That's a good one. Good example.
We had the same thing doing insurance over the summertime. We would really like it if people would buy to get bigger commissions off of them, but at the same time, it's not always the best choice for people.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, who wants to go next?
Okay.
I can go.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Joy.
Okay. Sorry. So I just kind of made one up because I think we could do that. But mine was basically someone was reading resumes for a new CFO position at a company, and she had to pick a few finalists for the position, and she opens one resume and realizes that it's the guy that her little sister had been dating for a while. And so she decides to go through with this person. Even though their resumes were like identical to the other candidates, she chose that person over the other person because of her relationship, or her sister's relationship with the person. So.
Nice.
What
was that?
I said, hopefully they don't break up, because that'd be kind of awkward working with
That
them.
would be really awkward. That's what I was thinking.
I did that one time. The girl I was dating got me a job, and then we broke up like a week later.
Nice.
We were working together.
That wasn't awkward.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. I don't envy you, my friend. All right, Brandon.
All right, so my example was similar, like with the political ones, but more like kind of my side of it. Just in that, like, I found that like when I personally already kind of like a candidate, I tend to put more stock in the articles in the media that build them up, and anything that tears down the other candidate or like focuses on their flaws, I'm more likely like to kind of pay more attention to that and assume that's like more true, I guess. And so like so things like the email scandal, I think that's like a bigger deal to me than like it seems to be to a lot of people. And so like any article ever talks about that, I kind of put more stock in that as like an important thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's probably everyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
Based
Right
on
there
our
with you. Yep.
views and whatever's going to help us strengthen that personally.
The only time I go against that is when I see a Huffington Post article against the person that I like, because they're comical. They're so biased. It's like comedy to read.
Yeah.
I've read a couple of them. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, I love the Huffington Post ones. They crack me up.
It's so funny too to see like So I shouldn't post political stuff on Facebook because I just like to be friends with everybody, but it's also fun to see like what other people's points of views are.
Oh, people get so riled up.
And I posted something last week, and it was like, there was like probably around 40 different comments on it. And just my friends with my other friends, they didn't even know each other. And it got pretty heated. And basically when it came down to it too, people weren't even using logic by the end of the argument. It was just name calling, finger pointing, and belligerent, like just a bunch of what's called logical fallacies.
Emotion.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own political biases or any biases in life because they have a set of views and they want different things to support them. Even if they might be wrong on some aspects, like I'm probably wrong on certain aspects, and other people are too. So, anyway, bias is fun.
Yeah. I was looking at the questions that the assignment kind of gave for us to talk about, and I thought one of them was really the first one was really interesting. It basically says like part of the article said that educating people about ethics and bias did not make a difference to the way they acted in the experiment. And so it said based on that, like what education would be helpful or necessary? Is it pointless? Should we have it at all? And it kind of got me thinking, and it's appropriate for a BYU Idaho class too, I think, because I don't think any education, like any secular education, is really going to help you with ethics in the long run, right? Because there's always going to be a better reason to be unethical, and make more money than to not, unless you have like a higher perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I agree.
That was one thing where they were talking about in that article, like their final conclusion was that no matter what happens and no matter what regulations or restrictions or laws they put into place, that like there would continue to be auditing bias and corruption regardless.
There's like no way to prevent that.
Because there's no way in the world we live in to eliminate self-interest.
Yeah.
Well, that's also capitalism, right? The invisible hand,
Basically,
right?
we're all trying to get ahead. We all have different things we want.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. And the invisible hand stuff, it will always eventually work, right? Because those companies who have corruption will lose investor trust, and they'll go down like the accounting firm that handled Enron. But the problem is that in the course of those ups and downs, like the American people can take quite a hit as well.
Yeah.
Like the housing foreclosures.
Well, yeah, and even all the people that were working for Enron and Arthur Andrews, I mean, that were trying to be good, they all lost their jobs as a result.
Right.
Yeah, I like that comment, Bruce.
You can look at it like, I was thinking about it like this too. Like this article really isn't about bias, because bias will always exist. It's about having the right bias, right? If your bias is always toward honesty, then that's good, right? They're just trying to avoid the bias toward the money.
Yeah.
This is what I thought. When you have a bias toward money and personal gain, and
well, I always thought it was interesting because I would never have thought that like an accounting firm, someone who's independent of that company, would want to be biased towards clients. But at the same time, like I'm seeing why. Like if like they get paid a certain percentage or some kind of commission or something like that, I can see why they want to make sure that company said she was like happy. I was kind of surprised that was like an indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Like being, I need to ask my uncle. He's a PA firm. I kind of want to ask him about that actually.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought some of the suggestions at the end of the article were really good. Like, especially the one where your accountant or your auditor can't take a job with the firm like for at least 5 years. I thought that one was pretty good because it's so hard not to have bias when they're paying your bills.
Oh, do you have to rotate like which team does like the auditing?
Well, they already have to audit, like they have to rotate which team, but the article was saying they should rotate firms. Like you can't use the same firm twice in a row.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, self-bias, looking at their point of view, self-bias, like that would kind of suck. If you work really hard to keep a certain big-time client, and like next year you have to get rid of them just because of a stupid law, like I can see how that'd be kind of annoying.
If they transfer you to the equal, company, like company equal to that one.
Seems a little bit socialist for me.
Yeah, well, that's where they said if the government gets involved, that's where it's not good, right?
Yeah.
Corruption will occur still.
Yep. Except legally. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
That's stupid. I don't agree with the law anymore.
That's the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. There were more radical reforms. I think because like in the article they said too that like no matter how many reforms or how radical they're going to be, there's still always going to be corruption and biases as well. Like even if the government was responsible for rotating firms from client to client, or they took more direct action and that kind of thing, like corruption, whether that's companies paying people under the table to make sure they get the right clients, or those companies still performing biases, regardless.
It's true. Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that they talked about the Sarbanes-Oxley Act so much because it seemed kind of lucky to me because my accounting class is just talking all about that this week, so they kind of lined up, and it seems to me like the Sarbanes-Oxley Act deals with more things like inside of like it seems more micro than macro, and it deals with things like inside of a specific company. Like you have to have an independent auditor, and you gotta like no one person can have too much responsibility for too many tasks, and you gotta have accountability. And it's all smaller level. It doesn't deal with big things like this Harvard article was talking about, like having to rotate firms to do your auditing, and when you can hire people and when they can move jobs and stuff like that. So it's not. It doesn't seem like it's attacking the same. Well, it's attacking the same thing, but not in the same way. So I kind of agree with the Harvard article in that more should be done, but some of the ideas scared me a little bit. Specifically, the one about having to rotate firms. But I did like the no hiring one.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't know that Bush was the one that passed the SOX Act.
Yeah, me neither.
Honestly, I think it's kind of funny because it was Republicans are being pro-big business, and the Democrats think pro-big business is like the root of all evil, which in some cases there might be some corruption there. I think it's funny that there was that Bush is the one that passed an act kind of regulating those big businesses more, making it more transparent. It's kind of interesting. All I thought he did was start a war.
This article specifically is specifically about auditors, but most of the studies are about human nature in general, and a few are about lawsuits. Do you think the bias that was discovered for plaintiffs and defendants leads to a flawed legal system? Why or why not?
I would say yes. That creates a lot of human error.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People, like, because people we're naturally self-interested. So whatever's going to be best for us.
Yeah. This is talking about their little experiment that they did, right? With the law.
Which one?
In the article.
What experiment?
Like with the motorcycle and the car crash?
Oh, yeah.
Which one was that one?
Well, they did an experiment about in a car crash, and they had like the defendants of the motorcycle and then the people of the car crash kind of determine how much would be awarded to the winner, and it was always in their own best interest. Like their amount was always so much more than the others.
Kind of like the people where they said the people that work 7 hours, the people that work 10 hours, and the people that work 10 hours should get paid less than 35 that people thought they should.
Yeah.
Because they do the same amount of work.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're right, Bruce. I think it does lead to a kind of a flawed legal system.
I mean, that's why people have different opinions at all, is because they have different things they care about, and then you want certain things to happen to make sure that those things they care about are taken care of.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so somebody that's a Republican, right, and it's extreme, they're all this and that kind of thing. I want to make sure that immigration is taken care of because they want the American economy to thrive, or whatever it may be, or they want to make sure there's less tax. Whereas on the retrospect, people that are extreme Democrats, they really care about people and animals.
We all want what's best for us individually.
Yeah.
And because of that, maybe it could help the legal system, but I think that it leads to a flawed system. I mean, but again, like you said, Bruce, there's no real way to get rid of that. That's the future.
It's true. If in that motorcycle case particularly, if the judge, had just had a child killed on a motorcycle, how are they going to be unbiased? And on the contrary, if the judge is an old lady who lives in a neighborhood that's become noisy because there's, a biker club that meets behind her house in a parking lot, how much less sympathetic is she going to be towards motorcyclists? There's just always going to be stuff like that and preconceived notions that people have about everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you do?
I mean, I think he was right in the first place about teaching people to be biased towards the truth. Sometimes, it's really easy to judge other people, see stuff from their point of view, and even see it from a third-person point of view as well. But it's really hard to think from multiple perspectives when the quickest and most available one is your own.
That's always going to be your own perspective.
Yeah.
But I think we do well in doing our best to see other people's perspective and point of view. I try to do a lot when I talk to people is, okay, why are you thinking like that? Okay, what's your situation? Because everybody has their own reasons for doing something, Just because we don't agree with it doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. That's why I think ultimately God's going to be the best judge, because he knows us all individually.
That's true. I had a cool experience on my mission. Elder Wilford Anderson of the 70 came and spoke to us, and he said one of the coolest things he said was that people will generally make the same decisions if they're presented with the same information.
Generally what?
And generally people who are presented with the same information will do the same thing. And, it says something contrary to that in a Harvard article, but you can't take it at face value. If you tell someone the same story, tell two people the same story, they may make a different determination, but it's because they've had different information presented to them throughout their whole lives, right?
Yeah.
But generally, if people have the same, experience and information given to them, they'll do the same thing. And so the solution is not to argue about conclusions and who's right and wrong about a specific topic. It's like you're saying, the solution is to talk about why someone feels that way and try and get to the information that each of you have that is leading to your conclusion. And share that information. And he was talking about it in a DNC 121 kind of context, like you don't need to force anyone to do anything and worry about conclusions and results. You just try and get your information aligned. But I think it applies to this too as a good solution.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. Okay, can you think of situations outside of auditing where there are lots of opportunities for bias? We just talked about all that.
Media. Also, I think there's also like age bias too. So like when it comes to
Millennials versus the old timers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers were like the most glorified generation, and we were like the most.
Absolutely. Joy, you there? We lost Joy.
Joy?
Is Bruce there?
I'm here.
Brendan there?
I'm here too.
Uh-oh, where's Joy?
Oh, she says she's here.
Okay. Mic isn't working again. Dang it.
Something interesting too. Now they're talking about, like, in the article, one reason why you to make bias maybe fraud, because like if they admit they were wrong in the past, or they admit they're wrong now, that means that they've been wrong in the past. Admit that because of their reputation and credibility and that kind of thing. My uncle, he has a friend that was a CPA. He lost his job, and so my uncle hired him. And those types of like accounting biases for like his whole career. And he's like, you have to change this, otherwise I'm gonna have to fire you. And he's like, oh well, I've always done it this way. And he's like, that's probably why you've been fired so many times. But his thing was the same thing. It's like, if I'm wrong now, that means I've been wrong in the past, and sometimes it's hard for people to hum themselves in that.
Sounds like
Right.
just kind of strengthens my testimony about the gospel.
I tell you, we're not having a discussion about business law like this at any other university.
I know.
Very true.
Okay, if you are an accounting major, what will you do about what you learned from reading this article? Well, for me, just do your best to, first of all, see all sides and do what's right.
Absolutely. And to the point you guys were making, it would become really important to me to catch mistakes and catch problems like as soon as possible, because if you kind of just let something go and grow, it does that. It just grows. And then pretty soon you have a real problem on your hands, and you have to admit you were wrong the whole time anyway. So it would just make me want to be a stickler, like right away on little things.
It'll always come back to bite you. I've learned that from personal experience quite a few times, unfortunately. But it does. It always comes back and just bites you in the butt. In the butt.
Both cheeks.
Both cheeks at the same time.
I think it's important then to kind of determine beforehand kind of how you want to be, because in some of these situations, you could see how like you'd want to be biased because it would help you professionally. It would help you to secure a job and things. So I think you just need to establish beforehand, like, this is how I want to be. This is what's important to me, is like my honesty, my integrity. And just kind of to know that there are some risks with that.
A lot of that, like being able to be successful in doing that, and like crowds and biases and stuff like that, it's like you're saying, like making the decisions and like evaluating and determining what your principles are before those trials and actually happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the same thing with anything you do in life. Like, you're not going to drink if you've already decided I'm not going to ever taste alcohol. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Someone, oh no, I already decided I'm not going to drink alcohol. Come and like, oh, well, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Last question here. Why do you think it's so difficult to overcome? We've been talking about pride. I mean, self-interest, all that stuff. We've kind of integrated that question throughout the conversation. Okay, so we have to write a paragraph about what the most important or interesting insight was.
So is that as a group, or is that each one of? Oh no, just one submits. Okay, answer my own question.
Does anyone want to, like, anyone like really like eager to write that?
I can do it. I don't mind.
You don't mind? Okay. They don't want to take the opportunity from anybody if anyone really wanted to type.
You want me to do it right now, like while we're on air? What?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we'll help.
Let me share my screen with you.
Real quick. Really quickly. Oh, you should get a picture for your guy.
I did have Google deleted it.
How's that thing working out for you?
It's just one. Just now it's cold, but I take it off.
Bruce.
Alright.
Okay,
A
the
discussion.
most important principle that I gained from this.
Well, hey, I have an idea. Let's split this up. Could we each take a paragraph? Well, we just have one paragraph, huh?
It only has to be.
Okay, never mind. I was going to have us each write a paragraph about our favorite thing, but never mind.
I don't know, maybe just talk about bias is going to exist regardless, so it's a matter of
Self-interest.
choosing the right bias, I don't know, which is honesty.
Yeah, basically.
And determining what you're going to do before anything comes up.
And so, yeah, really the only solution is teaching people to be biased towards the truth rather than their own self-interest, which is very hard to teach and actually people follow.
Yeah.
You realize I'm going to be biased in my paragraph, right? I can't not.
Well, just say that. That's a good example. To channel that bias.
Um,
I think you'll always be safe if you stay on the side of bias with honesty and kindness and things like that.
yeah.
Like in the
This is one run-on sentence. Tell you what. Let's see, what else did we glean from this?
What do you think, Paul?
Maybe can.
What else did we get from this? And how God really is the only one to focus.
That is the only one able to
Truly judge.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that's great.
Yeah, because that's the
That's
thing when
good
you
enough.
talk about Moses, like it's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah. It's going to be there. Yeah, yeah. My mind's like blanking on other things we talked about. Maybe that's it.
No, this is good. I think we should just stick with this.
Okay.
All right, I'll post this.
I'll upload this
Oh,
paper.
crap. I forgot to broadcast. JK. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Not cool.
I was looking at him like, no, you didn't. It's right there. I checked several times throughout this discussion. All right, my friend. Until next week.
Okay, see you later.
Bye.